In this video, we're talking about how to resolve if a guest is complaining in your short-term rental property, so stay tuned. Vacation Rental Machine helps hosts just like you learn how to start, grow, and scale your short-term rental business. This show is all about creating systems that help you automate your business, giving you more time and money freedom. If you're ready to start living the vacation rental life, then subscribe to this podcast today. Come and join us on our Facebook group, The Host Nation, where we'll be talking about starting, automating, and scaling a short-term rental business. Now, on to the show. Hey, welcome back, Host Nation, to another episode of Vacation Rental Machine. I'm Julian Sage with John Bell. And today we're answering another question from the Host Nation Facebook group, and this is from Julian. She asked, what's the best way to deal with guests who complain specifically about if your property is dirty? We're also going to be talking about, maybe things that are outside. Maybe it's just a guest that is complaining, whether it is, AC goes out or internet goes down, or maybe they're just an unhappy guest in the first place, or maybe they might even be lying. Who knows? We're going to be answering all of those types of questions in this video. And if you do have any specific questions that you want answered, be sure to go to the Host Nation Facebook group and use hashtag AskVRM. Those questions do get top priority. So John, being in the hospitality business, you're going to be interacting with a lot of different guests that have different types of problems. One of those is going to be, maybe they have issues checking in. Maybe they're just unhappy. They had a bad day. It was a long flight. They get to your property and then, maybe they spot something. Maybe it's like an extra little hair or something like that. Maybe some breadcrumbs, whatever it is. And a guest starts complaining right away about the place being dirty. How do you resolve that issue right away?
When it comes to cleanliness, one of the first things you want to do is just respond quickly. And you possibly want to respond with the solution of, hey, I can either resend the cleaners or I can come out and get it up myself, whatever it might be. Of course, these issues should be small because we should be professional hosts and we're not leaving the place sloppy in between our guests. So, our complaints in some cases are, hey, I found some crumbs on the table. I tend to just kind of over exaggerate it by saying I can send the cleaning crew to come and clean it. Most people will probably say it's overkill, but they ask for cleaning supplies to actually do it themselves. So you want to make sure that you do have some cleaning supplies there, whether that is a broom and mop or a just multi-surface cleaner and a couple rags that they can wipe up something. If it's catastrophic, if they're saying like, hey, you got ketchup on the inside of the cabinets and crumbs inside of the whatever, you do want to send out the cleaning crew as quick as possible. Typically, they have some type of guarantee that says, hey, if the place isn't clean, they'll come back and do it no charge. And you should be using that whenever there's some issues, but you do want to act as quickly as possible. Now, there's a flip side to this whole thing. Sometimes guests actually create their own claims. So let's say they check in and they know they automatically just want a discount or they don't want to pay full price. The place was great. They booked because the place is great, but they just need some money back because it was almost out of their reach. And they start making claims that, hey, the place is dirty. Somebody slept on the bed before me. It doesn't look like it was changed, whatever. In most cases, if you're operating as a professional host, you have some coverage because your cleaners either send you photographs or you have a system in place where things are checked off and then photographed or text to you when it's cleaned. And if you've done smart locks, you definitely have a log of people that went in and out. Using all this information will allow you to know this person's claim is technically bogus. And you then have to kind of decide, what do you want to do with this guest? Because they're definitely striving for some type of discount of some sorts, or they're just looking to give you a bad review. In some cases, it might be worth it to just say, hey, I'm sorry this happened. You know what? Maybe it's best you find another place in a nice way to avoid further issues. Of course, if they're just looking for a discount, maybe it's something small that they want back, $40 or so. Maybe that works.
So maybe they say that they don't really need a cleaner, but they're still unhappy. Maybe they're still complaining about some things. What do you kind of do at that point if it doesn't seem like they want to maybe resolve the issue and they just kind of want to complain about the property? Maybe it's the thermostat, the temperature in the house. There's some other things that maybe they're bringing up as well.
I tend to drop off what I call a I'm sorry basket, which is Basically, just some small items. It might include some treats like candy bars, gummy bears, whatever. Could include a little bottle of wine. But I'm dropping that off just to try to at least sustain a good review or possibly push me back over to the 5-star review category by admitting that something was wrong, of course, and that I'm trying to make up for it. Most people stop there and they're actually excited about receiving something.
So what do you do when there's maybe something that's outside of your control? Maybe the AC is not working, or the Wi-Fi goes out, or something breaks. How do you handle those different types of situations?
When you have something, let's say like an AC unit break, let's just say it's 80 degrees outside. And we'll run the scenario with children and without. Without children, you might be able to convince them to stay until you can get somebody there. With this case, though, you will have to give them some type of substantial credit back because most people don't want to sleep hot. And being 80 degrees outside, it could be almost 85, 90 degrees inside of the home. So that might be unbearable. With the child, it's unacceptable. So with that, you're probably going to have to credit and stop the reservation, cancel it completely out, and hope that they can find another place quickly. Maybe you have another place available, but in that case, it's best to just go ahead and release them because there's probably going to be major issues. You're probably going to get called repeatedly until you get it resolved. When you set a customer expectations, make sure you give yourself some time. So if that means your contractor is saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be there at 2 o'clock," maybe you give yourself until 4 o'clock to say to your guest, "Hey, this person will be there by 4." So therefore, you could start weaning them back to a positive review. He said 4, but the guy was there at 2. But even with that, if the guy slips an hour, you're still covered because guests don't like when they're waiting for something and the guy doesn't show up. If it happens to be Wi-Fi, let's just say there's an outage in the area, you also will have to credit this guest back because uh, living without Wi-Fi these days is like a critical thing. If you don't have cable, it's even more critical. So you will have to credit them back. I tend to credit back no more than 20%, but depending on the reservation size, I would say 10% sometimes works. But play it ear by ear. Sometimes $50 or just working in whole numbers like that. Sometimes you can say, "Hey, let me comp you dinner at one of my favorite places down the street." And you might have already had a standing agreement with this place where they either get a discount or maybe an appetizer or something like that. You can use those things as leverage to still win them back. Be sure to send them to a place that they will have a good experience, though. If they go to a place and have another bad experience, the whole trip has now gone to HELL.
So, question of the day: how have you resolved maybe a guest that's complaining or some things that have come up in order to save that good standing, that good relationship? Would love to be able to hear your stories down in the comment section down below. And until next time, Host Nation, keep on hosting.
Hey, Host Nation, would you like to work directly with Julian and I to help you start and scale your own short term rental business? Go to shorttermsage.com/coaching to attend our step by step training and learn how we can work together. Looking forward to talking to you soon.
Hope you hosts found value in this episode. If you did, please go on over to iTunes and leave us a review, as that would greatly support the show. If you'd like to connect with John, the community, and I, then go on over to our Facebook group, The Host Nation. Talk to you hosts in the next episode. Keep on hosting.